Let's jump into Module 8, all about inventory. So a quick review, and we should know this by now, but let's go through it. Inventory is anything a company buys that it's planning to sell for a little bit more money. Let's think of Walmart buying a pair of shoes. So let's say Walmart buys a pair of shoes from a supplier for $50 cash, debit inventory, credit cash, $50 on January 1st. They buy a second pair of shoes on January 2nd for $51. The price of inventory tends to rise over time. This is an absurd example where it's going up like every day. Well, that won't happen in real life, but imagine this happening over a longer time period. Anyway, they buy a second pair of shoes, same shoes, right? Nike Air or whatever, for $51. They buy it for $50. They're going to sell it to us for $80 or $90 or $100, whatever, but they buy it for $50. So they buy this pair for $51, debit inventory, credit cash $51, and then they buy a third pair for $55 cash, debit inventory, credit cash for $55. Now they turn around and sell the shoes for $80 cash. So let's think of the issue here. They've got three pairs of shoes, one that cost them $50, one that cost them $51, one that cost them $55. They're all priced at $80 because they're all the same shoe, and a customer comes in and buys one. What is our cost of goods on that shoe? What's our cost of goods sold? How much do I credit in? Like, what's the value of inventory walking out the door with that customer? And the answer I hope you're seeing, and this is the hint, is it depends on their accounting policy. If the company chooses first in, first out, FIFO inventory, what is it? Well, it's the first one. Their cost of goods sold, if they were using FIFO, is $50. If they were using LIFO, which isn't allowed in Canadian GAAP or international GAAP, but absolutely is allowed under US GAAP, if they use LIFO, $55 would be the cost of goods sold. If they use an average cost, 50 plus 51 plus 55 divided by 3, right? Just add them together, divide by 3, or divide by however many units you have of each type, which we'll do in examples this chapter. The average here would be $52. And specific unit ID, you wouldn't really use for shoes necessarily, but like my cousin is an antique dealer. Funny job to have. And, you know, if somebody comes into a shop and buys a table, he doesn't go, well, what's the average cost of my tables? He'll go, well, that's the 1938 oak table, and that's my cost on that is this. And if you bought the 1982 walnut table, my cost would be that, right? Like, he wouldn't say, what's the average table or what was the first table in? They'll assume that's the first table. No, they're all different. They're treated differently. A car dealership would be much the same. Even if they have 3 identical Toyota Corollas, they're going to track the vehicle ID number specifically. So specific unit ID says, well, which one of these did the customer walk out with? If they chose that one, my cost of goods is 51. If they chose that one, my cost of goods is 50, and so on. So it's going to be 50, 51, or 55. It won't be 52, because we didn't have any inventory that cost 52. So that's a concept we reintroduce, but there will be new quirks and features. That's from intro, but that's something that I wanted to reintroduce to you here, and we'll have some more quirks and features with that one. The other thing that I didn't introduce in my intro course is the concept of perpetual inventory versus periodic inventory. My brain processes inventory perpetual. This is how I see the world. Perpetual just means you bought inventory, you put it in the books. You sell inventory, you take it out of the books. But a lot of companies, it's a pain in the neck to track inventory every finite transaction. And so what they do is at the end of the month, at the end of the quarter, at the end of the year, they count their inventory and then they just adjust to that number. So they're just sort of adjusting their inventory way up and way down based on what happened over an extended period. Perpetual says every little transaction, you got to move your inventory with it. Periodic says, let's just check in our inventory occasionally. My brain sees the world perpetually, but a lot of accounting systems see the world the periodic way. I'll go through an example that kind of illustrates the difference between the two. XYZ company uses LIFO, last in, first out. Don't worry, my Canadian and IFRS cousins, this example will still be useful for you to understand, even though we don't tend to do LIFO. The company has no beginning inventory, so $0 in inventory, and the following transactions occurred during January. Company buys 10 units for $5, they sell 6. They buy 10 more units for $6 and they sell 9 of those. At the end of the month, the company counts inventory. There are 5 units left. Well, that makes sense. They bought 10, sold 6, so they have 4. They bought 10, they sold 9, so 5. Yeah, that makes sense that they have 5 units remaining. Calculate the cost of goods sold and ending inventory assuming perpetual. Okay, perpetual is again the one that just strikes my intuition as correct. Let's do the first one. We buy 10 units for $5 each, then we sell 6. Okay, so I bought 10 and then I sold 6. What's my cost of goods sold on those 6? Well, 6 units, $5 is my cost, so 6 times 5 is 30. That's my COGS on that sale. And what do I have in inventory after that sale? Well, I had 10, I sold 6, so I have 4 units at $5 each, so I have $20. So this is my COGS and this is my inventory, right? Then I buy 10 more units for $6 each and I sell 9 shortly thereafter. Now, the question I have to answer is, which 9 units did I sell? Did I sell 9 of the most recently purchased ones, or did I sell some of the older ones? I had 4 left and some of the newer ones. And the answer is, well, if I'm using LIFO, it's all the new stuff, like last in, first out. I must have sold 9 of those ones. So I sold 9 at $6 each. 9 times 6 is 54, and that's my COGS on that deal. And what do I have left out of that? Well, I had 10, I sold 9. I have 1 unit at $6, so $6 in inventory there. So to answer the question, under perpetual inventory, I have my cost of goods sold is 30 plus 54. COGS is $84, right? $30 on the first transaction, 54 on the second. That's my COGS. And my inventory value is 20 plus 6. 26 is my inventory. So that's perpetual. And that's how my brain sees the world. And you'll see periodic, I don't know, it just doesn't match with my view of what's going on here, but a lot of companies do use periodic, and again, for good reason. Not every inventory system can track this like finite detail. So periodic just says periodically count your inventory, update inventory balances based on our assumptions of what happened. So the way periodic works is the starting point is to say, if I sold out of my inventory during this period, what's the max I could have sold? What's the maximum amount of inventory I had at any given time? And the maximum amount of inventory we had here was like 20, like the max we could have sold is 20. If I sold out of everything, I would have sold 20 units during the period. And that's our units available for sale, goods available for sale. I'll just call it units available. 20 units. Then you count your inventory at the end of the period. We counted 5. Some questions you'll have to like calculate. You'll go, well, sold 6, sold 9. I must have 5 left over, but a lot of questions will give you the number. So units in ending inventory, I'll just say inv, and it's 5 units. So without knowing how many units we sold, just based on that, we can do a little calculation and say units sold 15 units. Now, not until we know this number, 15 units got sold, and not until we've calculated it in that way, now we apply LIFO to the month holistically, to the whole period. We don't say, well, I bought 6 there, or I sold 6 there and 9 there, but you know, when I sold the 6, I didn't have any of the $6 units. I only had 5. No, you don't even think about it that way. You just go, I sold 15 units during the month. I'm checking in periodically. What are my oldest units? What are my newest units? I assume I sold the 15 newest units because I'm doing LIFO. So I assume I sold 10 of these $6 units and I sold 5 of the $5 units. I sold my newest stuff. My the other way to think of LIFO is first in, still here, right? My oldest stuff is still here. So I've got 5 units that are still here. It's the oldest stuff, right? It's these ones, these $5 units. So my ending inventory is 5 of the $5 units. So $25 in ending inventory. My cost of goods sold, I assume I sold all the newest stuff. So I sold 15 units, 10 at 6. 10 at 6 is 60, and I sold 5 at 5 for 25. So my cost of goods sold is 85. Now I hope you're seeing that they're different, and this is a tiny difference. It can be very significant difference. The difference between periodic and perpetual. My periodic COGS, $85 in COGS. My periodic ending inventory, $25 in inventory. And the whole point of this exercise is just to say, it is a little bit different way of looking at it. Periodic, you just look at it a chunk at a time. You apply the rule to that chunk. Perpetual, in my mind, a little bit more accurate, a little bit better, but a lot of companies, it's just not worth it to be a little slightly more accurate, to have an inventory tracking system that's a lot more involved. So this chapter will look at both periodic and perpetual. I've got tons of examples. I can't wait to get started. Thanks for being here with me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now. The next video in our series is right up here, and if you want a supercut of all of the videos in this series, that's the one down below.